Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you guys how to install applications on the SGI in the virtual machine we have in MAME and how to improve the performance of the virtual machine a bit more. So first thing you're probably going to want to do is download the latest version of MAME, which I did. I'm using 0.263. And now after you're done with that, we have here our MAME folder. And in here we have a CHD, a folder that I created to store all my CHD files, including the one that we're currently going to be using, which I called IRIX65. I actually created this CHD file from scratch using a bunch of different ISOs for installing the operating system. I'm going to link a guide on how to do that in the description. So, that's basically it. You can run MAME from here to start up the emulator, but we don't want to do that because we want to just go to the terminal. Then here we're going to type, let's just minimize this a bit. Actually, I don't care about this open anymore. We don't need it. Let's just put it like this, Okay, so here we're going to type /. Since this is PowerShell, we can also use command prompt, but I like PowerShell a lot better since it keeps your history of commands that you ran, which I kind of want. This is the command that I'm using, but first I'm going to show you how to increase the performance. So if you run it blank, if you run the virtual machine blank, so if we run the machine blank, we can stop for maintenance, enter the command monitor, type hinv to get the hardware information, and we can see that we have 16 megabytes of RAM, which we don't really want. By default, we have that much. So we can actually change that by pressing scroll lock if you're on Windows, delete if you're on Mac, tab. Unfortunately, there used to be a P to pause it when you were paused, when you had your UI controls, but for some reason in 0.263 that doesn't work. I don't get it, but you enable the UI controls, press tab, machine configuration, and here we can select the RAM. And the best results I had with 4x16 in both of them. Otherwise, sometimes I get graphical glitches. This can go up to 4x32 megabytes in both RAM slots, but that might give you some issues. So 4x16 works. You can press reset, and it'll come back. And then when you do hinv again, 128 megabytes of RAM. It's a lot more, and it'll help our virtual machine run a lot faster. So now we can close this, and we can run with the command to use the hard drive. So here in the hard one is where our CHD file goes. I've showed you how to do this before, but we also want to use this this graphics card. So basically this is the XL24 graphics chip for the Indy. We want to use that, and we want to use no DRC. So I found out that by using this, it helps stop freezing that sometimes happens from MAME. So the machine won't boot for whatever reason, and no DRC makes it so that it does boot all the time. So we can run that, full screen it with Alt-Enter. Oh, and I also suggest always creating a backup of your CHD file whenever you edit your, whenever you do anything on it. Right after you're done, just leave, create a backup, and then you'll always be able to have, you won't need to reinstall the operating system if something gets corrupted, which since this is MAME and this is kind of a beta, it will break down sometimes. So that's what you need to do. So let's just wait for this to come up. So if you're worried about this line here with the syntax error, from what I've seen, it doesn't actually do anything and the machine boots up anyways. So we're back. Over here, you can see the boot screen. We're just going to run as root. I never set it up. Sometimes it breaks the CHD for whatever reason, but we just use root. And now I'll show you how to do a couple of things. First, so there are a couple of tools we can use on IRIX, on our virtual machine at least, to do various things. Like, for example, we can use our, I put the Classic Cube IRIX port of, well, old Minecraft over here. It's not working because of some compiler errors. Apparently something with the operating system is messed up. So here we have the thing. We can put it on a CD file and boot that into IRIX. I'll show you how that works in just a second. And a bunch of other things I installed are over here, some random, so NicoWare, which is a bunch of software collection, a software collection for IRIX. And there's a ton of stuff here. And I'll show you how to install one of these applications. Some of them, though, they don't work. All of them, it might be because of MAME or it just doesn't like the SGI, but this is made for, or the Indie, but this is made for IRIX in general, not just the Indie. And I also installed on this hard drive in, let me just see down here, user. As you can probably see, the operating system is running a lot faster since we increased the RAM. And down here at SGUG is some more applications that we can install. That's basically all I did to this Indie installation, or well, the IRIX installation, as well as putting some stuff from NicoWare like Quake, but that didn't run because of some bug. If you look over here, we have Quake. Let me find it. Hello? Hi, bro. Where is Quake? Ah, right here. I don't know, all these icons look the same. Quake. But if you try to run it, it won't do anything. And if you try to use the Unix shell to run it, user, well, actually, you just need user NicoWare. It'll say that it's not supported by the architecture, which is a real bummer because that would have been interesting to see. But I'll show you how to install a different app on IRIX. So we're here in the main folder, and to get the CDs into IRIX, all we need to do is turn on our UI controls with scroll lock, tab, go to File Manager, CD-ROM, and then we can put in an ISO like this, which is an ISO I created out of all the Nico files, all the different tar dists that were on their site. If it'll load, it's pretty big. It's like 5 gigabytes, and it took an hour and a half to move all the things from the CD-ROM to the OS, or well, IRIX, the emulated operating system. But some of the files were broken, which is why I have this Nico fix ISO. I'll show you it in a sec. And if this, it takes a little bit to load the CD-ROM. When it does, it'll show up there. You can double click here, and you'll find this little folder with a ton of these files, the tar dists, and it'll calculate them right now. because there's like 600. And in a second, it's going to be done. 638. We have a bunch of these tar disks. And what the icon should look like is like this little safe. But if they look like this, then the tar disk is corrupted or it's broken. I re-downloaded these and put them on a different ISO file that I've also included in that zip file. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to install some apps. And we can do that by going to System, Software Manager. And it's going to initialize. And we're going to see here we have a little pie chart of how much disk space we have. Oh, yes, this is a virtualized disk of 100 gigabytes. So we're not going to run out of space anytime soon. But what we're going to do is let's just put this here for now. And let's find an app that we want to install. And I'm going to use the apps from the dist folder over here, but actually from my IRIX installations dist folder, because for some reason it doesn't like the tar dists from the CD-ROM, because I don't know, IRIX is old and it can't read it. I don't know why. So, for example, if we just take this thing, drop it in here, and then look up, it's going to try to find it. Error, cannot mount local CD. So because of that, I just copied it over to my Unix root in here in dist to make the commands easier. And we're just going to dock this here, close this down, and let's say we want to install, I don't know, let's see, what do we have here? And edit, OCaml, Pari, Perl, a bunch of stuff here. Let's see, do they have Python? Because I actually know Python, or well, a little bit of Python. So if they do, we got Pygame. We got a bunch of other stuff here. I think, yep, yo, they have Python. Okay, actually, let's install Python. Slap it in here. Press the lookup button. And how I do this is it's going to probably want dependencies. If it doesn't, I will demonstrate a different one that wants dependencies because it's pretty complicated to, figure out what to do with them. So let's just move this like this and view as a list. There, so that they're not so big. Oh boy. So this is gonna do its thing. Eventually it will finish doing its thing. I don't know. It needs to unpack the tar dist, and then it's gonna look for dependencies. So if Python doesn't have any dependencies, it's a standalone thing. It'll just install it. And this is eventually going to work. Okay, so as you can see, it unpacked the tar dist. That took about 5 minutes. Then you can press start for it to read the product descriptions, do whatever it does, and figure out if there are any dependencies it also needs to install. And it doesn't. Oh, there we go. Okay, wow, okay. Oh boy. Okay. So it'll give you 7 conflicts. That's a lot more than I thought there would be. Okay, so it wants tkinter, it wants tcl, and tk. And how I do this is I tab over to my file explorer, or well, not my file explorer, to this site, which is where I downloaded the NicoWare from. And I just search TCL. Let's do that first. TCL. So we're going to click down here. We're going to delete this, and we're going to go to /dist/. Oh yeah, by the way, you need to have these all in your dist folder or somewhere else on your local machine's hard drive, because you can't really get them from the internet because there is no internet yet. I'm figuring out how to do that, and when I do, I will make a video on it. But we type dist and we do Nico because that's what all the things start with. And let's see, we need TCL. So we go over here, Control F, TCL, and there is one. So TCL-8.4.11.tardist. So go back, TCL-8.11.4. See if am I getting that correctly. 8.4.11.tardist. 8.4.11.tardist. Yes. And that's going to do its thing. Oh, well, hello. That's going to unpack the TARDIST, well, find it, unpack it, and then it's going to hopefully resolve the conflict. But if it doesn't do that, it's going to find even more things you need to install. Welcome to the joys of IRIX. And so we're going to leave that to unpack and see if there's any other things we need to install. So, okay, so I found it. It put it up here. And we can go back to conflicts, click over here, and there's more things that we need to install. So let's see, OpenSSL. We also need TK, SQLite 3, readline, OpenSSL. This is going to get resolved when we do the other one. And GDBM, bzip2. Okay. So let's go and do TK first. Then we're going to do OpenSSL. So let's click here. Go over here, /dist/ we're going to find TK. Oh boy. Oh, 8.4.11. So, Nico 8.4.11.tardist. And now it's going to find that and install it as well. And I'm going to speed this up because there's a bunch more dependencies, but now you get the gist of it, and that's what it's going to look like. You need to resolve all the conflicts, and if they end up creating even more conflicts, you need to resolve those too. And on the cycle goes until it's finally done. So oh, and if you're wondering why can't I just copy the name from my host OS and paste it here, guess what? Apparently, I cannot figure out how to paste anything in whatchamacallit, in IRIX. I don't know why, but I've tried using Control V. I don't know. Let's see actually. So if we go, let's just open our shell to be able to do something while this thing installs. Oh, no. Okay, good. Take the software manager back to where it originally was so that it can do its thing. Oh, goody, we have more conflicts. It's just, and you might see that the icon goes above. I don't know why, but okay, we have less things. Let's go. Now that should be the last file, well, the last TARDIST. And now there are no conflicts. You see the button is grayed out, and we can just start the installation. And what it's going to do is it's going to, guess what? Install the applications. And that's going to take a bit, because again, IRIX is very, very slow. probably because the specs of these machines were also bad compared to what we have nowadays. So yeah, it's going to take a while. Anything that you do on IRIX is going to take a while. Okay, I just realized you'll never understand what I just wrote, so I will give you some hints. So, jot riddle me .txt. I know this is not me wasting my time. I'm very bored and I need this to be done. So I'll give you some hints down here. Let's make a line. Hints. Dude, I hate this. Work already. Okay. And some words. Can you work, please? Okay. Once this is 100%, there's some more stuff we have to do for now. We're gonna do some hints. We're gonna do blue. That's a hint. Sue me. Or more like, sue you. Never mind. Blue. Okay, if anyone was clever enough to notice what day I'm recording it on, I'm going to give it right here in IRIX format. Does my numpad work? Okay. No, the day is 03. 03 20 1200 24. And by the way, these numbers don't mean anything. They're just time of day, so we'll replace these with X's. Let's see, another hint. Hint. I also realized this is not necessary. You can ignore most of the letters in the riddle. They are not important. Why can I not type I? Finally. Okay, so we can continue with installations or exit since we have finished the installations. We don't need any more, so we can just press OK, and we can remove these distributions because you're never gonna remember where it's stored. So it's fine. Remove everything. And now it's going to run some exit commands. Requick starting ELF files or ELF files. I don't know how you're supposed to say that, but I hate it. Everyone, I don't know. So, okay, that's going to take a bit more, and I'm going to finish up this riddle. So, oh, you can just, okay. They're not important. I'm gonna put some spacing between these because each of them is a separate hint. I'm gonna do semicolons, because that's always fun. Not really. Java is pain. But anyways. Okay. Ignore most of the letters, they're not important. Two words. If you didn't realize that already. Uh, 2 words. And the final hint, blue, green, white. The final hint is that's it. If anyone figures out this riddle and puts it in the comments, I will be very surprised. So we're just gonna save.